Excellent. So, environment is very, very, very important. As human beings, we all live in environment. And as business people that we aspire to work for, or that already, for some of you who are already working, you work in an environment. Without proper environment, we cannot do anything. If you live in an office that is seriously polluted, that is seriously flooded with water every time, you will not be able to work in that office. If you live in an office, like if your office is close to Kotu power station, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to enjoy work. And again, if your office is close to Kotu, where is it higher education? No, energy ministry is, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to enjoy your work, because there is a dump site where they dump all this crazy stuff and it smells like crazy. So I pass by that place on a daily basis. It's terrible to live in those areas. And also, if your office is close to backwater dump site, you will definitely enjoy work. So it is our responsibility to take care of our environment so that we can feel good, so that we can feel peaceful. Okay, so our presentation outline is going to look like this. We're going to look at definition of environment. We're going to look at environmental issues in the Gambia and elsewhere. We have so many environmental issues in the Gambia, and people seriously ignore them. Okay, as accountants, as finance people, we need to care for our environment, because if we don't, it can cost us dearly. It, in fact, can cost us our business. Okay, we can face litigation as a result of not being good to our environment. Okay, so we're going to look at common environmental problems, what are their causes, and how do we remedy them. Okay, then we're going to have a case study of recycling in the Gambia. Actually, I only came to realize this yesterday. It's so interesting. I was not thinking that we have any serious recycling going on in this country, especially at the provinces. But you will see the video on a particular lady who formed an organization who does just recycling. Just beautiful. You will learn, what other people are doing to contribute to the development of their environment. Okay, so we're going to look at that will nicely take us to our main topic, which is EMA, Environmental Management Accounting. We're going to look at introduction and definitions. Then we'll look at categories of environmental costs. What are environmental costs? What are their various categories? We're going to look at how we manage environmental costs. Very, very important. Failure to manage them is going to cost us dearly. We're going to look at types of environmental costs, identifying environmental costs. How do we control environmental costs? Then we're going to do accounting for environmental costs using the various techniques, about 3 of them. We're going to look at them. Then we're going to look at the EU emission trading system, the EU ETS, okay, otherwise known as carbon trading. Okay. Then we will do a small question on EU ETS using Google Sheet. Okay. So hopefully that's where we're going to end for the day. Any questions before we proceed? We can move, can't we? Can we move? Okay. Now, how are we going to define environment? So many definitions, isn't it? Our environment. What is environment? Can you define what environment is, class? Hello? Yes, Nyako. What is environment?
Hello.
Yes, Nyako, go ahead.
I think environment it's any, it's any surrounding or condition in which people live or animals.
Good. So it is our surrounding where animals and people live. Okay, that's a good one. Anyone? Environment? What's our environment? Your house is your environment. Your compound is your environment because it's your immediate surrounding. Okay? So environment is, of course, anywhere animals, humans, and plants where they live. Okay? So it's really, really important if we know that our environment is where we live, it is really important to take care of it. Okay, so we have some definitions. These are not cast on stones. You can, have your own definitions if it's gonna mean the same thing. Okay, so environment is surroundings or condition in which a person or animal or plant lives or operates. Okay, so an environment, in other words, is the sum total of all surroundings of a living organism, including natural forces and other living things, which provide conditions for development and growth, as well as of danger and damage. So you can live good there, but then your environment could be of danger also, and your environment could cause damage to you as well, depending on how you are able to maintain your environment. Okay. So that means environment includes both our homes and our business environments. Our homes and our business environments, or wherever we go, is all part of our environment. Okay? So, environmental issues in the Gambia and elsewhere. Let's look at the Gambia. What do you think this picture represents? Where do you think this picture was taken?
I think it's Bakote.
Huh?
I think it's Kotu.
Bakote.
Kotu.
Why are you saying Kotu? Not Bakote. I hope you don't live in Bakote, huh? Sise, I hope you don't live in Bakote.
This is Bakote. I
Is
live nearby.
Bakote?
You said what, Mr. Fofana?
Yeah, you were the one saying Kotu, yeah?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I thought the biggest dump site in the country is in Bakote, isn't it?
Okay then.
Yeah, it's certainly Bakote. And you can see individuals there that are engaging, okay, trying to look for stuff. Yeah. So, now, this was definitely in Bakote. So, is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? If you think it's okay, tell me why it's okay. If it's not okay, why is it not okay?
It's not okay because this can cause harm to us because, as we agreed, this is an environment that we live in, Bakote precisely, is where people live in, and then it can cause harm to those people that are staying near that area.
Exactly.
Smell could be one of them.
Yes, yes, that is true. And he is doing it. Bakote dump site, even during rainy season, if you pass Bakote dump site, there will still be smoke. I don't know whether you observe it. So it's just terrible. I mean, so I definitely wonder how people around that area, how they live. It's just difficult. Okay? So it's definitely not okay for this to be like this. Because it's a dump site, it shouldn't look like this. It's so open, it can pollute our environment, it can cause even death. Imagine somebody who lives very close to this and there is smoke throughout. The person happened to be an asthmatic patient. You think the person is going to live long if he's not blessed by God? The person will definitely not live long because he could get asthmatic attacks, isn't it? So now we all agree that this is not okay because it causes harm to us. What can we do about this? All of us. What can we do? We challenge each other because we are all Gambians, aren't we? What can we do? We can all contribute our quota to this. What can we do?
Mr. Favan, I think some measures will be taken for us to recycle this into manure. It can be recycled into manure.
Okay, are there? Yes, it could be recycled into manure. Brilliant. It could be recycled in the form of a manure. That's very good. That's one solution. Okay. What else?
Mr. Fofana.
Yes, Favor. Yes, Favor.
I think no matter the step we take in making it better, if we don't look for the main cause, it will continue being worse. For example, if we recycle it into manure and then people keep throwing dirt there, it's just going to be like we have just wasted our time and nothing has been done. So I think that one, we need to acknowledge that people need to throw dirt, obviously, and then there's nowhere suitable that have been provided for people to throw dirt. So I think the first step we can take is creating or making a place that people can throw their dirt in, maybe a pit, preferably, in a place not close to where people are staying.
Okay, that's true. That's true. I mean, that's true. Sometimes it might be difficult. Your bits and pieces might not be very, very successful, but it's really, really important that we do our bits and pieces. So we should try. I keep telling people, like, especially during the weekends, once I'm going from A to B, using my car, if like I buy fruit or anything on the way, even canned drink or whatever, I will never throw it on the road. People joining my car will say, "Oh, what's wrong with you? How can you throw rubbish in your car?" I said, "Look, I don't have to behave like all others are doing. If I do that, what's going to happen is we're all going to suffer." But they'll say, "But no matter how hard you've tried, all other people are going to throw rubbish on the way." I said, "No, let everybody throw it, but I'll do my bits." So it's really, really important to do your bits. But then there is a bigger picture. The municipality, they are the ones who are responsible. The Carnifing municipality, for example. So they need to do something about it. Okay? So when you travel, when you go to the West, you go to other places, if you go to the site where they do their dumping, voila, you will swear that no, this is not the place for their dumping. And that's the place for their dumping. One, it will be a small place. Two, if you go there, you won't see any dirt. Why? Because they start managing the dirt, they start managing the refuse from the house. One, they will ensure that all the refuse is sorted accordingly. Okay? The general waste will be sorted and they will dispose that on a special bin. Usually we call that the black bin. Okay? The plastic and the carton and paper waste will also be sorted and put in one bin. Usually that's a blue bin. And then the third category will be the agricultural waste. Weed, leaves, and so on and so forth, will also be sorted and be placed in a different bin. So when the collectors come, when the municipality collectors come to collect the bin, if you have not arranged it this way, they will never pick it. Period. They will never pick it. So we could encourage KMC to do exactly like that. People need to sort their refuse from the house. So please, if you go home from today, if you have to dispose of waste, try to sort it. From today, please, let us be practical. It's a new Gambia, and then we must change our attitudes. Otherwise, we are not going to do justice to ourselves. Otherwise, we will get loads and loads of backwards. We have similar one in Kotu, and I'm sure we have similar one in how to call it, in Old Joswang or New Joswang or wherever, in Brikama and in a lot of other places. One, they will claim our land. This land in Bakote is a big land. It could have been used for, a lot of other benefits. But no. And again, if it stops there, one can understand. But then it's disturbing people. It's causing disease to some people. And who knows? It might have claimed of other people's lives. Don't you think so?
Mr. Fofana, please, I'm confused.
Right.
You're confused, Mami.
Yes, as you said that when we go home today, we should try and make a difference by maybe sorting our bin into different parts. But then, what is making me confused is that in where I stay, KMC come to take the bin every Thursday, and when they come to take the bin, they put everything together in their truck. So, what would be the importance of us sorting it in our own house when KMC comes and they put everything together in the truck?
Good question. You will tell them that, look, I have learned a new thing. I'm going to short my bin. Okay, you can take them together, but if you are disposing them of, don't put them together. Tell the bin guy that. At least, whether he does it or not, but it will send a signal. Let everybody do that, okay? You understand? You do your sorting. And when they come to collect it, look, you can have, different bags for them. Bags for general waste. Your general waste will be where you throw your yamin bam or whatever you call it. And then the plastics, the cartons, and so on. Put all of them in one. If you have weed or one, put all of them. Put it together and tell the guy that, look, I have sorted my bin, so please don't mix it with the others. And you stop there. It's going to send a signal. Okay, if you do that, somebody else does that. There will come a time the message will sync. Okay. I know it's difficult to practice it without the help of the municipality. It's very difficult, but let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Is it difficult? Favor?
It will be difficult because then it's not only about us, it's about like our household. For example, if you stay in a family compound that has children, adults, and everybody, yes, it's not impossible, but it's going to be very difficult because then you have to educate from the old woman down to the last child and everything.
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult, but I think it's possible.
Yes, it's very, very possible. You can do that. Like children also in the house, we are fond of that. We are fond of that as Gambians. Children will, like, for example, if they eat peanuts, the peanut shell, they'll just dump it anywhere. If you see things like that also, tell them, pick it, go and put it somewhere. But if you're going to ask them to pick it somewhere, there must be somewhere where they to put it. Okay, it's really, really good. My kids, I train them that, when we are going to school or so, if they eat something, all of them knows that they are not allowed to throw it outside. Okay, at the house, when there is refuse, they all know where to put it. Okay, so, this is what we call discipline. But to be honest with you, we Gambian, kind of Gambian, but majority of us lack this kind of discipline. And they're really important. You go to the street, you see people littering everywhere, littering even banana on the tar road. We can cause accidents. Okay, so these are little bits and pieces, but they're really, really important. Okay, so please let us change from today. So that's why number 4 is, what is your role to ensure that all these litter and all these backwater dump sites are minimized? What's your role? Let's start from the house. Okay, let's start from the house. If kids or anybody who doesn't understand this, if they throw litter, if they throw rubbish, tell them. Let them be aware, in a respectable way. Stop people to certain things because they don't know. They don't know. When I was starting my class, one of my junior officers came, because I asked him to bring some hot water for me to make tea. So when he came, the cup was empty. There was no tea there. So he wanted to put hot water there. But he remembered that I once told him that to make a good tea, you must have your tea bag inside the cup first, then you put hot water there. The British way of making tea. Then he told me, boss, but there's no tea in the cup, and you want me. So I laughed. I said, okay. So it was really good that I told you this last time, so you remember it. So it's the same thing. Some people do certain things because they don't know. People did not tell them. And in Gambia, we're not good at telling people the right stuff because we will assume that if we tell them, we're going to make them ashamed or something like that. Okay. So our responsibility. So this is your assignment for this week. I'm not going to give you any assignment but this. Okay? Anything related to environment, I'll give you more and more as we go along. It's going to be practical assignment, not to do anything on Google Sheet. Is that clear, class? Is that clear?
No, it's not clear.
Yes,
that is a good one.
Danso, I said my assignment is when you go home, try to practicalize better environmental activities. Okay? Collection of reviews, teaching people, how to separate the litter and so on and so forth. Is that clear? Is that not a good assignment?
Yeah, it's clear. It is very good. Yeah, all right.
Good
So,
one
Mr.
indeed.
Fofana, are we going to take some pictures?
Yes, please. If you can take pictures, that would be nice. If you can take little videos of what we have done, that would be nice. To be honest, please. I mean, we're taking this joke, but it's really important. If you go to ask people who travel, if you have a brother or sister, ask them about their experience. In the West, you are not mad to pee on the road, to urinate on the road. You're not mad to do that. Even in Dakar, you're not allowed to throw rubbish in the middle of Dakar. You're not allowed. The policeman will come and they will pick you, they will find you. But in Banjul, people can throw rubbish anywhere. In Serekunda, people can throw rubbish anywhere. Why Gambia? Why? This is not allowed. So it's not about learning accounting stuff, learning numbers and so on. But we need to have good attitudes as future professionals, as future politicians, as future everything in this country. Okay? So when I'm teaching EMA, I always emphasize this to my students. It's very, very, very important. And the way we deal with our flora and fauna. How many people plant trees? Look at what is happening in this country. Felling of trees, using it for charcoal, this food business and so on and so forth. It's not correct. Those of you who are Muslims, you will learn there was a hadith that says, even if your last day on earth is going to be on a particular day, if you have an opportunity, you need to plant a tree. So it's part of our religion. I'm sure even in Christianity. So what are we doing? Okay, so it's really important because if we joke with our environment, we are joking with our life. That's why somebody was jokingly telling me the last time I was chatting with a friend. He says, those who live in let's say Bakote, in Carniving Estate or in Bruceby Estate, there is not much obituaries for people living. But he says people in Talinding and in Joshua and so on and so forth. Those who live in he says all the time there is obituary. But that's on a lighter note. I don't want to believe that. But to be honest, your environment counts when it comes to your life expectancy. Okay, it really, really counts. Okay, so please let us not joke with it. Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
I want to add something. I want to explain.
You want to explain something? Yes, please do.
It's about the attitude that you have mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. When you see, like, for those who are always use of traveling during the packaging, when you travel to the up countries and you're about to reach Kuda's guard, there, if you want to throw any rubbish out, those individuals are the ones who help you, because they know that if you do so, there's there is a punishment against it if everybody will face the consequences. So if there are policies and laws that are all in place and they are implemented, they have to be, all these things to be a history.
Yes, in fact, already we have the law called anti-littering law. Anti-littering law, but it's not being put in. Gambia we have this, and our situation is very sad. There is this maslaha syndrome. Even today, the government has opened the mosque. He said, okay, you can go to the mosque, but then follow these conditions. Okay, go with your own mask. That was one. Okay, try to wear a mask if you have one. Okay, try to ensure that the mosque is clean, and then there is this detergents and so on and so forth. Okay, maybe wearing a mask might be difficult and stuff. But then, how many people, the mosque I pray, I think it was in fact the two of us who went together who brought their own masks. People don't care. So this is the Gambia for you. And these things can cost us a lot. I don't care, I don't care. I don't believe it, I don't believe. No, it costs us a lot. We don't know. Okay, so please, let's ensure that we follow the law. All these are part of our regulations. They are in black and white. So we need to ensure we follow them so that we can lead better lives. Okay? So I would like to proceed. Yes.
Sorry, I want to add a little.
Okay, go ahead.
What you just said is very important about believing this coronavirus thing.
Yeah.
In Gambia here, almost the majority, let me say the majority of the people, they don't believe that this thing is here in Gambia.
Yeah.
They watch the news, they saw it all over the world, but when you tell them it is here in Gambia, they argue with you.
Yeah.
They say, no, it's not here, it's politics. They want money. All fancy stories, they tell you all sort of stories.
Yeah.
And if government want money, this lockdown, the amount of money the government is losing and the country is losing, how can the government gain that kind of money from locking down the country, from this donation coming from outside? It's not possible.
Yeah.
But if you tell them, the people don't understand. Even people who went to school, like university, even in this group right now, in this class right now, there are people who believe that 100% this is political, it is fake, and something like that. We have to change the way we behave and the way we think.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
That's true. Okay, that's true. Okay, so I think we need to move. So let's look at some common environmental problems that we have, especially in the Gambia. Well, our major problem worldwide is the issue of the depletion of the ozone layer. Okay, I know almost all of you knows this, that due to human activity on our mother planet Earth, the ozone layer is being depleted day by day. Okay, and this is as a result of the excretion or the emission of greenhouse gases. Okay, so for your information, the ozone layer is the diaphragm or that kind of barrier that serves as a barricade between us on the earth, that's humans, animals, and trees. The ozone layer serves as the barrier that prevents us from getting the direct heat of the sun. That's the infrared radiation. So it's this layer that blocks us or that prevents us from getting the direct contact of the effects of the sun. Okay? And because it is depleting, it has caused a lot of problems, according to scientists. It's hitting the planet, and as such, the global warming is in its peak. I mean, it causes a lot of global warming causes a lot of problems. One of them is the melting of the Arctic and the Antarctic. This is the ozone, that's an ice block ozone. So if it melts, what happens is it flows into seas, and then the sea levels rise. It causes floods. It causes tsunamis. Earthquakes, tornadoes. Name them. We've seen on the news on a daily basis. We have this natural disaster. Okay, So another big problem is bad agricultural yield. Okay, bad agricultural yield. Look at us in the Gambia. For some of you who are from the provinces, say 20 years ago, 30 years ago, what we used to yield in terms of agricultural production cannot be compared to now. Okay, why? Because we have very low rainfalls as a result of our attitude to agriculture, our attitude to our vegetation. Okay, now you go anywhere, people just fell trees. The forestry is not doing us any justice. They're not helping us at all. They are the ones who are mandated to take care of our forests and so on and so forth. But what are they doing? Okay, go around the country. It's very, very, very difficult to see, you know, these big trees like the mahogany and so on and so forth. The South Bank is a lot better, but when you look at the North Bank, it is a lot worse. The North Bank is almost treeless. Okay, so we need to be careful about our agriculture. We need to be careful about our trees. Okay, so another problem that we have environmentally is illegal dumping. Okay, illegal dumping. Okay, we've seen the Bakote dump sites. Okay, so another problem that we have again is diseases. So many diseases going around. Even this corona that's going around, okay, it can be caused as a result of, you know, infection from an infected person. So bad, you know, bad effects of our environment could cause what? Pollution. And pollution could cause what? Diseases. And those diseases could relate to what? Death. A typical example might be when you're in a taxi or in a car, you've eaten your orange or whatever, then you throw the bits out. Or maybe you eat food and you throw it out. Okay? After throwing it out, this food can be infested with microbes, for example. These microbes could, you know, dry out later on, and wind could blow it, and then it can go into somebody's nose, and the person can catch terrible disease out of that. That disease could lead to the person's death. Whilst you sit in your house, not realizing anything, you thought you have just thrown an orange something. So think about this. It's really, really important that we really take care of our environment. Okay, so what do you think is this picture? What can this tell you? Class? Can you see this picture? Can you see this picture, class?
Yes.
Mr. Fofana,
Yes.
this is like illegal migration. I don't know if my eyes can serve me well.
Illegal migration.
I think it seems as flooding.
Flooding, yes. Yes, it's flooding. No, you know, those that are those ones are usually in canoes or in boats or whatever. But look at these waves. These waves are very, 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 very high. Very high. So this is a typical example of a tsunami. Okay? It is a typical example of a tsunami situation. So look at the waves.
This is tsunami.
It's tsunami, exactly.
Tsunami.
It's tsunami. Yes, it's tsunami. Exactly, it's tsunami. Okay? So it's a picture whereby tsunami in a particular country and it's about to consume people. Okay?
Mr. Fofana?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes, go ahead.
Fofana?
Yeah, hello, Mari. Go ahead. Okay, Mary does not seem to. Okay, so this is a picture depicting a situation whereby there was a tsunami. Okay, look at the waves. The waves are like mountains. Okay, so this is a situation whereby a tsunami can happen as a result of global warming. Okay, as a result of global warming. Okay, so let's look at the causes of some of these environmental problems. Some of the causes. Okay, are we together? Can we move?
Yeah, we can move.
Okay, we've looked at environmental problems. Let's look at some of the causes of these environmental problems. Okay, we've been talking about them. One of them is the cutting of trees and using them for wood and charcoal. Very common in the Gambia. Very common. The government can still not stop them. Very common. Or the cutting of trees to be sold, cheap. You can have a mahogany tree in your village that's about 100 years or even more. You cut it and then sell it for less than 10,000 or less than 20,000. What is that going to benefit you? You eat that 20,000 or even 50,000. You eat it within a month, it's gone. But look at that tree. Look at that tree. That tree is really beneficial. I hope we know the benefits of a tree. What are some of the benefits of a tree?
They help in rainfall, Mr. Fofana.
They contribute a great deal in rainfall.
Yeah.
Where there are trees, there is huge rainfall. That's why in the West, in the UK, in the US, there is no rainy season or dry season. It rains throughout. Throughout my 7 years in the UK, there is not a time whereby for a full week it won't rain. Throughout my 7 years. There will come some time when it will rain every day for a complete month. Okay? Hardly a week goes by without it raining. Throughout the year. It's because of trees. They respect their trees. But here, we say, let's use this tree for this, for that. I mean, it's terrible. We definitely need to be careful. So it's my responsibility, it's your responsibility, okay? I know it might be difficult because you are not, working for government and so on. But if you see people doing that, talk to them, advise them, tell them, look, this is detrimental for their lives. This is detrimental for everybody's life, including animals. If you have a tree, everybody benefits from that tree. Ants, they benefit from it. Birds benefit from it. Other animals benefit from it, much more humans. We benefit from the shade, we benefit from the fruit. So you go and kill that tree just for a little money. You consume that little money, is gone. Where is the tree? It's gone. Too bad. Chinese are buying a lot of our wood block, and then they're buying it cheap from our people, and then they import it to China and make thousands. See, what are we getting from it? The felling of the trees must stop. And again, if they are felling trees and replacing them, but they're not doing that. If you fell one big tree, you should at least replace it with 100 trees. Because those 100 trees you're trying to replace them, are they going to live to the age of that tree you just found? You don't know. So please, let us be careful about the cutting or the felling of trees. Okay, inadequate rainfall, of course, relating to the first point. Yes.
Yes, this cutting down of trees and using them for wood and charcoal, what do you think is an alternative to them, considering the poverty rate in this country, for example?
That's a good one. But look, if you fell tree, let's say, charcoal sellers. What are you going to benefit from that charcoal? Okay, if you say you're going to use it for your livelihood, make sure you replace them. If you fell anything, even if it belongs to yourself, Try to replace them. And again, you could create other things. You know, you could involve yourself in other jobs rather than felling trees. Okay, so I mean, I don't think it's an excuse. Poverty cannot be an excuse, Amamu. Poverty cannot be an excuse, to be honest. Okay, so let's do our quota and then talk to people if they're involved in such things. Okay, so inadequate rainfall and then of course lack of irrigation. When you go to other parts of the country, CRR, URR, there used to be in our childhood days, there used to be irrigation for rice farming and stuff like that, but that's not anymore. And the advantage with trees, with plants and everything, their advantage is so enormous. It's not only about eating their fruit or their harvest or whatever. Trees contribute a lot to the climate. How? We humans, our output is what? We emit what? CO2, don't we? Carbon dioxide. We take in oxygen, which is good. Oxygen is good air. We take it in to breathe. And at the end, our output is what? We emit what? CO2. And CO2 is what is there. But what about the trees? The trees is the opposite. For them, they take in the CO2, and what do they emit? They emit the good. So they take the bad one and then produce good one. So they take in the CO2, and then emit oxygen. So that's why where there are trees, the atmosphere becomes excellent. Do we know this? Trees take in oxygen, and then they what? They emit what? Sorry, they take in CO2, carbon dioxide, and then emit what? Oxygen. Okay, so it's really important to know this. So the prevalence of bushfires is another problem in the Gambia. You go everywhere, immediately after the rains, there will be bushfire everywhere. It will kill the plants, it will kill the trees, it will even kill the animals. That's why when you go into a bush, you will hardly find any animal. Even tigers. We used to have tigers, but no tigers now. Okay? Lions. You cannot talk about lions. You go to other countries, and it's so beautiful to watch, to go around camps and, watching those, animals. It's so beautiful. That's why even when tourists come to the Gambia, most of their budget will be spent in Senegal. Because what do we have in Gambia to show the tourists? Very little. Maybe bird watching. So if they want to see the animals, they go to Fatala, in Senegal, in Casamance, which is very close. What do we have? Nothing. This is sad, Okay, so we look at unsolicited public dumping, like we've saying, Bakote dumpsite, we've spoken about it, the plastic bag issue, and it's still continuing, and it's still illegal. Do we know that the use of plastic bag is still illegal, but people still use them? Do we know it? Little or no capabilities of recycling, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's move to the next thing. How do we reduce environmental problems? Okay, we've been talking about them. We need to plant trees to increase agricultural activities. Trees emit oxygen and consume CO2. Okay, like I've said, let's stop bushfires, the burning of trees for charcoal. Let's stop them. Okay, let's try to reduce greenhouse gases emission. Okay, by ensuring that the equipment we use, the vehicles, there are some vehicles that are green vehicles in that their CO2 emission is very little, okay? So we can, buy those kind of vehicles, air conditioners, and even refrigerators. There are refrigerators now that emits only very little CO2, okay? So we can also reduce our individual carbon footprint, okay? Our individual carbon footprint is the amount of greenhouse gases we as individuals emit. As a result of your activity, like If you are somebody who travels a lot, you know, aeroplanes, they emit a lot of carbon. Okay, the CO2 they emit is just too much. If you use cars, you contribute to your carbon footprint becomes high. You know, if you buy refrigerators, ACs, and so on and so forth, it contributes to your carbon footprint. It increases your greenhouse gas emission. Okay. So how do you reduce your carbon footprint? Are you with me? Hadijatu, you are nicely seated there listening. Hadijatu, Seka? Hadijatu, are you getting me? Ah, she has gone. Aisatu Kanyi? Amadou, Roger in. I've not heard from you today. Amadou? Roger in or
Yes,
Roger
sir.
out?
Roger is here, sir. No, as for now, it's Roger.
It's just Roger.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do you care about your carbon footprint? Do you have carbon footprint in the first place? Do you have it? Mamadou York? Mr. York, are you with us? What is wrong with the class today? Favor, you say yes. Favor, tell us about your carbon footprint. You know, accountants, when there's no calculation, they tend to sleep. Amadou Salah? Amadou?
Yes, Mr. Paul, you are right. When there's no communication, people are kind of lazy.
Huh? You know, accountants don't like it when numbers are not crunching. Eh? Odiet Jata? Odiet? Are you with us? Okay, Marmalade, tell us about your carbon footprint. Marmalade? Marmalade?
Yes, Mr. Fofana.
Yes. Tell us about your carbon footprint. Do you have any
Yes,
carbon
Mr. Fofana.
footprint?
My network is kind of breaking today, but I'm getting your question.
Okay. Do you have any carbon footprint?
No,
Mr.
no, I don't.
Fofana,
Except for the one I'm using from my business. No.
You don't have any. You don't use a car. You don't use a taxi.
No, I don't.
Mr. Fofana.
Yes, Hadi.
Okay, like I try to check what carbon footprint mean. Any activity that human being do
To contribute to CO2 emission, greenhouse gas emission. So I'm asking about your own. What do you do? Do you contribute to emission of CO2 or other greenhouse gases? Do you?
Hello. Mr.
Fofana.
Hello. Yes, Favor. Favor, go ahead. Favor, tell us about your carbon footprint.
Yes, as you rightly mentioned earlier, you named fuel, which is the gas that the airplane emits, and also the motor vehicle. Though the airplane is not an everyday thing, so I don't think I can put it as part of my carbon footprint. It's a once in a while something. But for the car, it's an everyday thing. It helps me in transportation, and I have to move from one place to another because of human activities that I have to do. So one will be a car, entering car every day. That is also one of the things that emit carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases that I do. And then the other one will be burning of stuff, because as you rightly mentioned, there are different things that we, even apart from the things that we use to cook, like charcoal and wood and that. I'm also talking about burning of things, like maybe litter or something like that. So those are some of the activities that I engage in that emit some gases.
Good. That's a good example. Very good. Very good. Yes.
Favor, now I want you to put all these things together, because I would like to calculate to know how much you are contributing to the greenhouse. Mr. Fofana, I will do that and I'll give you the report. Don't worry.
And then please don't forget, Amadou, to do it for yourself as well, because you need to reduce. Everybody need to reduce their carbon footprint.
Exactly.
If we want to do justice to the environment, not reduce our carbon footprint. Okay. One way to reduce your carbon footprint, just like Favor is saying, if you have a private car, okay, if you have a private car, you can use your private car. It's so sweet. You can move from X to Y. Okay, your private car is going to emit the same number of gases, just like the taxis. So park the private car and join a taxi. You are going to reduce your carbon footprint. Okay, because whether your private car goes, whether you use it or not, the public transport will still flow. So that is why in the West, in the UK, for example, they encourage people to park their private cars. In fact, in some places, there are benefits to it. Like when I was in the UK, I used to work for a company called Vodafone. Okay, at Vodafone, they used to encourage us to do car sharing. For example, if 2 or 3 of you are living in one area, okay, what you do is, instead of each and every one of you bringing your car to the office on a daily basis, you will do car sharing. The 3 of you will join one vehicle for, say, 2 days, and then the following 2 days or the following day you join another vehicle. So instead of 3 vehicles going at a time, there will be only one. And as such, your carbon footprint will reduce, because what you're going to emit, if you use your car, I use mine, and Odette also uses hers, there will be more excretion of CO2 in the air. So, but if we limit it, and then they have a benefit to it. So staff are paid, to sacrifice their car in this way. Okay, so the West is really moving when it comes to environmental issues. Is this clear? So this is one way of reducing your carbon footprint. And for those of us who are working, for example, well, I am a victim of that. I don't like to part with my AC, but ACs, especially the old models, they emit a lot of CO2. So if you switch your AC off and open your windows to have natural airs, what are you doing? You are reducing your carbon footprint. Is this clear? So we have to know this, we practicalize them so that we can make use of them. Okay? It's really important to know them. Is this clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fofana.
Yes, Amadou.
Yes, Mr. Fofana.
Mr. Fofana, I have a question.
Yes, Amadou, go ahead.
It's very
Yes. One of the ways to reduce. Hello.
Yes, Amadou, go ahead, Amadou.
Yes, another way of reducing carbon footprint. They said stop eating or eat less meat. They say
Very good.
the single most effective action you can take to combat climate change is to stop eating meat. So
Very
this
good.
statement, I'm confused.
Very good.
Like, stop eating meat.
Oh, that confuses you. Okay, I'll explain it. Oh, I'm really happy that people are enjoying this. To be honest, you know,
Yes, please.
the climate, this weather environment thing is a hot topic everywhere in the world. I keep telling my students there are two main things in the world today that dominates the world. So that's why if you have any project around those two main things, your project sells like hotcake. One is gender. Anything to do with gender, you get support. Two is this environment thing. Anything related to environment, everybody wants to listen to you. There are people in the West who goes to supermarket to buy stuff. Okay, they will go around, you'll be seeing them reading labels. What are they looking for? They're looking for organizations that are environmentally friendly so that they can buy their products. If you are a manufacturer or you are a producer who have got issues with the environment, mind you, in the West, your business is going to collapse because nobody's going to buy from you. It's really, really very important. Back to Amadou's question. Okay, Amadou, you read somewhere that by stopping to eat meat, you will contribute to the environment. That was your question. How? Your question is how? Very, very important. If you eat meat,
yes.
If you eat meat, what are you doing? You are contributing to the killing of either a sheep, a goat, or a cow. Okay? So, if you contribute to the killing of a cow, okay, what are you doing? The cow feeds on what? Grass. So, if you eat meat, that means you're going to consume lots of cattle, and those cattle you are feeding on, they feed on what? They feed on, what do they feed on? On grass. Okay? And if they feed on the grass, what's going to happen? Our green grass will reduce. So the more cattle you eat, the more you are contributing to the collapse of our vegetation. So that's why they say stop eating meat, and then you will contribute to the low emission of CO2. Does that make sense, Aman?
Mr. Fofana.
Yes, Mustafa.
What of those who are engaged, in trading those canals for livelihood?
I like that. Let them go and do something else. Let them go and do something else.
Mr. Fofana, still another question. I'm very confused now. More confused than I was before he asked the question.
Okay, Favor. Okay, yeah, let's hear from Favor. Council, before you come. Yes, Favor, yes. You're more confused now than before. Why?
Yes, because from the angle I'm sitting, it's actually more advantageous to kill those animals, as in to use them for meat. And the reasons are, one, these animals do the same thing as we do. They breathe in oxygen, and then they breathe out carbon dioxide. So if we have less animals to drag the oxygen given to us by the plants, then it will be better. It's like we have the oxygen to ourselves. At least that's from where I'm sitting, the angle in which I'm sitting. And then the second one is the reason you gave. Those animals, what do they consume? They consume those plants that are supposed to give us more oxygen. So when we have less of those animals, we have more oxygen. That's the way I'm saying it.
Exactly.
And you have less carbon dioxide.
You have answered your question. If we have less of those animals, we have more of oxygen. So how are we going to have less of those animals? We will have less of those animals if we are not consuming them. Okay? If we consume them, like if we use meat habitually, then that means we are going to rear more cattle. And those cattle are going to feed more on our vegetation. So it depends on the angle you are looking at. It depends on the angle you're looking at, okay? So don't.
Okay, so it's beginning to come together. I think it's beginning to.
Okay, yes. Let's go. It will make a lot more sense. Okay. So let's proceed. Right. So we say, how do we reduce environmental problems? We've discussed them. Okay, we've discussed them. And the last point that I would like to highlight is, let us be aware of the anti-littering law. Okay, let us be aware of the anti-littering law. And this is a law that abrogates people from throwing rubbish everywhere. Okay? So at least we have a good case here. This is the situation with recycling in the Gambia. So let's watch it quickly so we can move. Okay, we can move to EMA. Okay. For now, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop recording this, and we do a new recording.